The entire rundown on the Battlestar Squonker in 3, 2, 1. What's good, YouTube? It is your boy Thesis, aka Thesis himself, from VapingWithThesis. That's right, God bless it. Now look, bitches, today we've got the Battlestar Squonker by... Alright, let's do it again. What's good, YouTube? It is your boy Nas, aka Thesis himself, from VapingWithThesis. That's right, God bless it. Now, my fucking cadence on that. I like starting over. It's fun. What's good, YouTube? It is your boy Thesis, aka Thesis himself, from VapingWithThesis. That's right, God bless it. Now, look, bitches, today we've got the Battlestar Squonker by Smoet. Real quick, today I want to give a huge shout out to the patrons on the Patreon page. Thank you guys so much, as well as the newest sponsor to the channel, podjuice55.com. Use coupon code Thesis15 for 15% off your entire order. Now, with that being said, huge shout out to the patrons. I am going to try my hand at building some more custom mods, but I'm going to try to make them a little bit more high-end. Something a little bit more, we'll say, elaborate than your regular unregulated, that's fun, that's so weird thing to say, a regular unregulated device. I'm going to make something a little bit different than your normal, everyday, unregulated mech mods. I'll show you guys a video and some pictures right now, bam, of my ATX gaming case, a PC-style device. This one I may end up by giving away shortly, but at the same time I want to make sure that these devices that I'm building are going to be safe. With that being said, huge shout out to the patrons of the Patreon page. Thank you guys so much. You guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, notification button. Don't forget to hit my ass up on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. If you want to delve even deeper, hit me up on SoundCloud, all at Thesis himself. With that being said, fuck the small talk. Let's go and get up close and personal with the Smoet Battlestar, son. Welcome to Up Close and Personal with your boy Thesis. Now real quick, today we have got the Battlestar Squonker kit by the Ninja Kitties over at Smoet. Huge shout out to them for sending this bad boy out. P.S. I want them to send out another one. I want to give this bad boy away super fucking bad. Hawkeyes. Now real quick, huge shout out to Mountain Man as well. VML Liquids, that is what I am using inside of the reservoir. Huge shout out to them. They sent this out. They did make a coupon code for the NinjaMilitias. It is Thesis20. Not cap sensitive as far as I know. Make sure you put that bitch in there for 20% discount. God damn, that's a great discount. Smoet, you thought about me. Long, regular ass, thick gauge, micro USB. Look at this. Look at that. Now real quick, I just want to take a second and address this. The reason why I get super intense over cables is because usually, I would say maybe 80% of the time, the cable is going to be indicative of the rest of the device. If they send out a solid cable, good gauge, that means that they took the time on the rest of the device. We got an extra reservoir. Hugely appreciate that shit. We got adorable little rubber caps, the rubber grommets, more O-rings because you will need them. I'll show you why in a second. QC, does anyone give a fuck about this part? I don't think so. You know what? Don't fucking use shitty batteries, cotton, extra O-rings, 510 pin. That is not going to be squonker, so that fits right there in the RDA. You can use on any other device, which is great, or a non-squonk device. Bam, that's it. It's the interior of a box. You get it. Schwegger lumps. Look at the back. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty titties committee. Shitty. Smitty. So real quick, first and foremost, I want to just go ahead and say I noticed the paint job. I'm very impressed. Thank you guys for taking your time on paint. To me, paint in the way that it looks, the aesthetics, as well as how it holds up over time. That to me is very important. The fact that this thing has been dropped several times, not directly on the concrete, but it has been dropped on hardwood floors, carpet, and then thin carpet. Nothing's happened to it, no rattling on the interior, as well as no scratches. So huge shout out to Smoet for doing a good job. The exterior, you've got the top button, that's your fire button. Left is your negative, right is your positive. Now my first complaint comes in with the batteries having to be taken out in order to replace this tank. That's the downside. The positive about that is the fact that I can refill my squonk from the bottom portion. At first, I thought this was going to be an issue for the simple fact that I thought it was going to leak. I'm kind of eating crow. It hasn't leaked and it's just been fine. Like this entire time, no leakage, no liquid anywhere on the interior of the chassis, though it is possible. I'll show you why in a sec. But the fact that I can do that right there, I like a lot. This has always been a negative to me with any device. It doesn't matter the company, but I can give you one example. That's going to be the VTech Honda engine looking thing from Vape last year. Great device right up until it wasn't. Battery doors are garbage. Most of the time when you have a battery door like this, it's going to be garbage. What I did realize is how beautiful, big, juicy sexiness they put on a tab. That tab right there is big. It's not going to bend as far as I've used it. Like I said, I have dropped it a few times, no issues. Big downside is you don't see a positive and negative very nicely displayed on the bottom. You do see it, tiny little positive there, tiny little negative there, etched into the plastic, but it is not clear. I want the shit to be extremely clear, concise, and easy to read for a first-time vapor. Positive, negative, we are golden. shut it, just like that. There's a nice solid click that I like a lot. Now, when I'm taking the reservoir out, the one thing I did notice is that there's gonna be a little bit of excess liquid there. If you look at the bottom here, you're gonna see the interior of the device. I don't like that fact. However, the good side is there's no way for it to get inside of the battery tray that I can see anyway without taking it apart. Now, if you look inside, you do see the O-ring with that brass grommet right there. Pop this back in, slides just like that. God, this battery door is hard to put on. That's a great thing, by the way. That's a solid compliment. Now, the 510 on it, I do prefer to see more design or more thought into the 510 deck. I like things to look a little bit fancy. This is not one of those times. This is going to be as plain Jane as it gets. Beautifully machined, however. You look on the interior of this, and this is, of course, a downside with any squonk. You got a little bit of liquid down there. Now, they did try to prevent any leakage of the liquid coming out of the 510 deck by placing this O-ring. This O-ring I lost immediately. Literally, after putting the RDA on and then off, I saw O-ring right there, and I was like, what the fuck did that come from? It came from this. You don't need to have it on there for it to be functional. However, it is nice to have, although I do wish that the O-ring would stay in place. With this RDA, the nice part about the squonk is that there's no bottle. I know that's kind of controversial because some people prefer bottles. I prefer the pumpers, like a good example right here. Asmodus Pumper 21, favorite squonk of all time. Bam, and then it pumps back up. That I like a lot. The downside about it, of course, without having a bottle is that there's no reverse suction. So when you squeeze on a regular squonk and then you let go, any excess liquid that's going to be in that juice well will be sucked back into the bottle. That is not the case with a pump style squonk. I still prefer the pump style. The downside about this one in particular though, right here. This did come off fairly quickly in my pocket. It hasn't happened since. It was only that one time. As long as it's nice and tight, you're not going to have that issue. Let's go and size her up at 24 millimeters by 30 millimeters, or just about. Excellent RDA. I would use this RDA on anything else. There is no lock, so once this is once you have it in place and once there's liquid on it, it's going to be a round robin. So you're going to have to kind of watch to see where your airflow holes are at. The adjustability on it is excellent. I will say that it's completely wide open. I do actually prefer this one with a little bit more restriction. If I turn this about halfway down at 75.5 watts, let's go and take a listen to it. Oh my God. Oh, at 75 watts, it was just perfection. 0.16 ohms. By the way, these coils here are the ones that it did come with. I do prefer to use my boy Ray's, as well as I wanted to use my boy Adams down in Australia. However, I wanted to make sure that I used the specific ones that it came with. Okay, so now in terms of easy use, it's extremely easy to build on. In fact, I do want to show you guys the build video real quick. 1, 2, 3, go. saying it, the ease of use on this RDA is perfection. It is not something where I would say is extremely advanced RDA. Now, generally speaking, with an RDA of this caliber coming with a kit, they're usually going to be kind of lower quality. This one is not. You take a look inside of the chimney, none of the paint spray is in there. It is domed off. Again, one of my favorite things to see in any given RDA, for the simple fact that your flavor is going to be that much more dense. I love it. This is by far and away one of the most tight fitting drip tips I've ever used, and I think that it's due to this little divot. Right there, you're going to see this notch. The cool thing about that is the O-ring is inset in the chimney of the RDA. Bam. Once it's in there, it's not going anywhere. Doesn't matter if you got juice on it or not. She's staying put. I fucking love that. Little things like that make a big difference for me. In terms of the chip, it's just 1, 2, 3. Simple. Everything you go through is just like that. You can adjust it to variable wattage, to variable voltage. Go again. Now you've got your own curve. That's your personal setting curve. You got your NI 200. Temp control, that's your stainless, titanium, TCR, of course, and then back to variable wattage. That's where I prefer to keep it. So no, 1, 2, 3. Anytime you go through this, the way to select each one of them is just hit the fire button. Now, in order to clear the puffs, I've got 232 puffs on there right now. Clear it just like this. Bam, puff counter is cleared. It is an extremely simple device. I like chipsets that are easy to use like that. Micro USB, it is a charge port as well as firmware updatable, which is something I always like to see. It's nice to know a company is willing to take care of a device even after it's been put out. That to me shows that SMOAN is committed to their products. I like to see that. Now with that being said, I just want to touch on the airflow of the RDA. It is a beautiful airflow. It's very smooth. It's not what I would call restricted at all. It's just wide the fuck open. Take another listen. Oh my God, that peanut butter is fucking phenomenal. Bitch, it's okay, smell the truckers. Now with that being said, let's go and get back to regular view, son. My final summation is this. The SMOAN Battlestar Squonk box, in my humble opinion, is a phenomenal device for the price. Although there were a few things on it that I don't necessarily like, especially the battery door, the fact that the batteries come out while I'm trying to replace the fucking tank. Little things like that do piss me off. At the same time, they're still little things. The longevity factor to me is key. I want a device to last as long as absolutely possible. If I'm gonna pay $100 for something, I want that shit to last as long as I can. In terms of a Squonk, especially of its size, its proportionality, I'm gonna give this a solid 8. Biggest reason being is because I can hold it in one hand without any issues. It's very similar and sort of akin to like the Wismec, the old school Reluxes, however the fuck you want to say them. I dig it. The button on it feels great. I like the placement of the pumper. Now, of course, there are drawbacks to having a system like this that pumps. You do not get the suction that a normal Squonk bottle would give you in any other application. You don't get the suction that takes back excess liquid inside of the juice well. This does not do that, but for me, I actually want my juice well full. Always. It's way better, in my humble opinion, to have your juice well full for the simple fact that I know my shit's not gonna get dry. I don't want any dry hits. Nobody wants that. Now, with that being said, Ninja Kitties, the looks of it is gorgeous. Not necessarily the actual aesthetics in terms of the way it's shaped, but I'm talking about the paint. The paint on this, it reminds me of the old school Hot Wheels that changed color when you put them underwater that I had as a kid. I fucking love a solid chameleon paint job. All right, so I'm roughly 5.5, 6 feet from the camera, so let's keep that in mind. There's a couple of assholes who think that I do this position specifically so I can flex the biceps, and those assholes will be correct. Bitch, it's okay, Smother Truckers. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell. Always check the description. I do try to give as many links as possible to the social media and stuff, as well as to the sponsors. Thank you guys so much. Okay, Smother Truckers. Now, with that being said, I want to tell y'all that I appreciate y'all for vaping with Thesis. It is your boy Thesis. I'm out. God damn, that peanut butter mountain man tastes like sex in a bottle. Now I'm gonna post that shit to the internets.